Jim Rich, his wife's procedure up at Peninsula Junction. Yeah, I think it's called. And she may actually be released later this evening and for sometime tomorrow. So everything went real good. So that's the first bit of good news. Not sure what kind of news the next one will be, but I want to have Paul just kind of update us on the COVID situation.
Okay.
You're being recorded.
All right. Thanks, Bill. I had a member call me yesterday concerned about the COVID situation because a lot of folks he knows has COVID, have COVID, and of course a lot of people I know have COVID. So I promised him that I would look up the latest information from the Virginia Department of Health website, which I did, and it shows that the incidence does continue to be fairly high in both of our counties and the Virginia Beach. In all of those areas, it qualifies for a rating of yellow according to the CDC. It's no longer green like it was. The number of cases, for example, in the past week in Washington County, and these are known cases, is 26, and in Accomack County 75. I mean, this compares to back, a few months ago when the incidence had really kind of come down. We thought it was got over. It was, in the teens and sometimes below 10. Fortunately, the rating is not red in these places because the number of hospitalizations remains relatively low. So what's happening is the latest variant of COVID is Omicron BA.5, I think it is, and it is just tremendously contagious. Every new version of COVID that comes along is more contagious than the version before. And lots of people who've had COVID before, lots of people who are fully immunized, they get exposed to this new BA.5 and they get it. Fortunately, they're not getting all that sick with it, although some people do. So the hospitalization rate hasn't climbed to really high levels again. It's kind of creeping up a little, and the death rate remains relatively low compared to what we had earlier in the COVID pandemic. So this member expressed concern that everybody's kind of thinking this is all over, but the fact is it really isn't, and we should continue to take it seriously. We do have rules. Everybody that comes to these meetings is supposed to be fully immunized. We still have masks available at the door. We have hand sanitizer available at the door. Everybody is encouraged but not required to use those things. Again, I just wanted to share his concern, and I think it's merited. Bill.
Who is this mysterious member?
I don't know if he wanted his name shared or not. But
he was male.
And again, lots of people have said, in fact, I might have been guilty of it myself, that this is kind of becoming like the flu. But I looked into that a little bit today too, just compare the death rate of flu with the death rate more recently of COVID. Obviously, the death rate in COVID is hugely high. If you're looking back at the whole history of 2 years. Even now, though, for example, in Virginia Beach, I looked at the number of people that have died in the past 3 months. 33 people have died in Virginia Beach. And I think 2 people have died here in Northampton. Well, 3 people have died in Northampton County and 3 people also in Accomack County in the past 3 months. So if you look at the Virginia Beach numbers, that calculates to about 30 people dying per year per 100,000 population. I looked at the incidence of the number of deaths from flu, and the number of deaths from flu per 100,000 people is about 1.5. So the chance of dying from COVID is maybe 15 times what it is from flu. So it's not the same thing as flu at all. And the other thing is that people who die from flu are generally people with underlying health problems, old people, and people, even young people, can die of COVID. So I mean, it's still a serious disease, and I want to encourage people to still take it seriously. So, any questions? Yeah.
Well, just one point, 104 years ago, we had the Spanish flu pandemic.
Right.
And since then, we've had year after year of variants. And year after year, there's vaccinations, year after year, there's people that died from each one of those variants. So we didn't wear masks, we didn't panic, and we didn't shut down the country for all those. So I just don't get the difference too much between 104 years of that history and the 2 to 3 years of this history and the panic going on now.
No, there's not much panic going on right now. I think everybody's kind of taking COVID in stride, and very few people are following precautions anymore. In fact, the CDC, because the death rate is relatively low compared to early in the pandemic, is not really pushing it that much anymore. So if you follow the CDC guidelines, it still doesn't say in green and yellow areas, it doesn't require that people wear masks indoors, in public areas, and red areas it does. But and intermittently, Virginia Beach kind of flips over to red, and it's only just a little bit of difference in the numbers, and they'll switch back to green the next week. So it's kind of confusing, and I think that's kind of something that's not ideal about the CDC system. But one week you're supposed to take it seriously and wear masks, and the next week the numbers change just a little bit and you don't have to wear masks. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Plus 1 point, 100 years ago, medicine wasn't where it is today, and the majority of these deaths are preventable.
That's right.
Just having to live with people dying around you. And so when it's preventable, if we had taken it seriously earlier, we would not have had the deaths that we've had. Morbidity as well as mortality, people being in an ICU on a bed for 3 months in order to survive when they're 25 years old. That would have been avoided.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but we're told prevention is wear a mask, get vaccinated, and people do that, and they're still getting it.
Much less often than the folks that don't follow those precautions, though.
Well, we're not sure that.
Oh, yes, we are. Thanks, Betty.
Okay, our guest speaker today is an artist. He's from the local area. He was born and raised in Sheraton. Currently living in Newport or Hampton, right? Okay. And he's here to speak with us today. You can see some of his artworks here. And I'm sure he has a lot more to tell us about his artworks and also his studio and what his push is to put the art out that he does, because this obviously takes a lot of thought, creativity. These are beautiful pictures. So without further ado, Richard, can I have you come on up?
Good afternoon. First I want to say it's really not just a pleasure, but it's, to me, I think it's a historic event that I'm here before you today, considering when I was born, where I was born, and the things that I have gone through, being raised as a child in Cheriton and Cape Charles. And for me to be standing up here is just an example of how far we've come as a people, in a society. I want to introduce before we started Adrienne Day, who has come with me. She is a gallery owner. She has a degree in art, and she just came over to make sure that I didn't mess up. Okay.
Where's the gallery?
The gallery is located in Hampton, Virginia. That's where her gallery is located. But I'm a part of that gallery, but I'm also a part of the gallery in another town in Hampton called Phoebus, a gallery called Art Central. So I have 2 galleries that I'm a part of. The works that I have right now, I've been honored to and blessed to have a steady hand. And I know this, sounds kind of simple, but going through a lot of you still take a brush and you can paint relatively smooth and easy with it. It's something that you should not take lightly, for granted, and it's something I think that God has blessed me with. But God also blessed me with ideas. Okay, I have about 3 exhibits going right now. Okay, one of them is in Virginia Beach at a place called the Art Institute. If anybody's familiar with the Art Institute of Virginia Beach, there's about 8 art institutes in the country. This one is in Virginia Beach. The exhibit that I have going on is a very, very unusual exhibit in that these people here that you see, they come from a particular tribe in Ethiopia called the Omo, O-M-O, Omo River Valley tribe. And the reason I chose these people to do a series of works on is because their population is going down. I did one piece before I actually did my research on it. And I found out that the reason their population is going down is because they have superstitions that causes them to annihilate or eliminate babies. And you cannot have a population grow if you're going to eliminate the babies. They have a particular superstition called Menge. A Menge is a child that is born who's, as the child grows, the top teeth start coming in before the bottom teeth. They feel that's a curse on the land. If it's a curse on the land, they have to eliminate it. Another Menge is a child who is being carried by the mother, and the mother is not wedded. They feel that's a curse against the land. They will wait until the child goes to 9 months, and once the child is born, they will eliminate the child. If a mother is pregnant and they find out that she is not wedded or have plans to be wedded, they will eliminate the mother. So the elders are the ones that continued this from years and years and years. But as fate would have it, one of the sons of one of the elders fell into the category of a Menge. So this elder, of course, did not want his child to go through this, so he sends the child away. Child goes away, child gets educated, child comes back and says, wait a minute, the land is cursed. If I'm a Menge, the land is not cursed. So the child takes chances and goes back to his tribe and says, I think all of this is, we put it bluntly, is a bunch of baloney. Okay, but you don't say that way to the elders because they can eliminate you then. Okay, so he makes several trips back, walking 60 miles to try to convince the elders that we are killing our people for no reason. So they put him to an ultimatum. Because it didn't rain in this Omo Valley, but maybe once every 6 months, they said, if you are telling the truth, it will rain tonight. If you're not telling the truth, then you will be one of the annihilations. It rained that night. It rained that night. As a matter of fact, it was a thunderstorm. So, being the type of people they are, and the symbols that they cater to, they stop the practice of the Menge, which causes the population to start going back up. So now it is a curse to say the word Menge in this tribe. So one of the things that these people do, they decorate their bodies. They paint their bodies. They live next to the river, so they use stones from the river. They grind them up. They use lava from lava rocks. They use sap from the trees, and they blend these things together, and with the chlorophyll from the leaves, and they make these beautiful colors. They can't go to Michael's. Okay, they can't go to Michael's. They have to make these colors themselves. So I've gone through, and people from around the world now come to see these people, to tour the Omo River Valley. And of course, when they do this, they have to do it every day. They cannot keep leaves on their head one day and then have the same leaves the next. Okay, so this is a tradition now that they do all the time because of what they're doing. So I have a collection of these, and I started an exhibit in November. Once I had my collection made, I said to myself, I'm going to make a deadline for myself. I'm going to have an exhibit. And this might be a good lesson. If you have faith in yourself and confidence in yourself, give yourself a deadline. If you give yourself a deadline without somebody else doing it, you'll work toward it. I wanted November to be the date that I wanted to give a show. And I told people I'm gonna have an exhibit in November. They said, where? I said, I don't know. I don't know. You know what day it's gonna be? No, I don't. But I think it's gonna happen. And just so happened that I got a radio interview, and they asked me those same questions, and I was kind of embarrassed. I said, I don't know. But the following day, I got a phone call from the training coordinator at Thomas Nelson College. He said, can you tell me more about your exhibit? And I said, well, you know, basically what I told you. She said, we have an event coming up in November. Would you like to have that exhibit in November?
There you go.
I said, yes. And it turned out to be a very big thing. It was a formal event called Black Diamond Weekend. And they had no idea what I was going to do. But I had 10 pieces of artwork similar to this, some of them much larger. And I had 10 models. Could you stand up a second? And I choose that because of your dress. Okay, so if you can imagine her face being painted like this. So we have painters such as Adrian. Adrian is one of the painters. So she would sit down, Adrian would look at the picture, and she would paint her just like the picture. I would go outside, I would get fresh leaves from my front yard, and we would put the leaves on me. And I mean everything. You see that black neck? Yes, all of that will be painted. Okay?
Oh, it's painted.
All will be painted. And then we have a young lady who has a African boutique shop that sells garments like this. She outfits the people as we paint them. She outfit. Now, what she would do while she's standing here, when people are passing by her, all she would do, can I do that? You would not look at the people. So when you take your hand up, look at your hand. Follow your hand. But do the other one. Follow that one. That's all she would be doing. Every so often, she would move. And it made it real. So that's it. That's it. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to use you.
You are
But that
television.
one show that we did at Holiday Inn in Newport News at the City Center, then got us another show for the Vice Mayor of Newport News asked me, could I do the same show for Juneteenth? So we did the same show for Juneteenth. We used 9 models on this one. Art Institute, Virginia Beach said, could you please do that show over here? I have a solo show over there, have 38 pieces of artwork up. There will be 7 models. And that's going to be on July 28th. And the invitation is open to all of you. July 28th at Art Institute in Virginia Beach. It will be catered by the students of the school. They have a culinary class also. And so I open up to everybody. Come over and see the Omos. But I would Are there any questions?
What's the location of the Virginia Beach?
It's on Main Street, 4500 Main Street.
And what's the date again?
It's July 28th. Come over and be my guest. We take a trip. We'd love to have a Rotary Club there.
Oh, yeah, few.
What's the size population of this tribe now?
The population tribe right here is about 15,000.
Okay.
It's about 15,000. Should be a lot more. They live on the water. They used to not live close to the water. And because there was lack of rain, it was very difficult. But one day a bull got out because they worship their animals. The animals is everything, their work, their food. One day a bull got out and it was a very serious thing for them. And days later, the bull returned and had mud on his feet. So wherever there's mud, there's water. They traced down from where the bull came and they found out they had been by a river all this time. It's called the Omo River. So now they live on the river. So they call them the Omo River Valley Tribe.
Yeah, I looked them up.
One thing I'm not sure everybody knows, I do a lot of genealogy work. Everybody in this room, everybody in the world, everybody that has ever lived on this planet has roots to Ethiopia. That's where Homo sapiens first arose. Everybody in this room has DNA, African DNA, that you can trace directly to Ethiopia. And so this is all of our histories. Everything that was just talked about, it's all our history. So it's interesting.
Thank you. If you don't mind, if I could just have Adrian just speak a minute about her.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
She didn't anticipate this.
Okay.
She's my boss.
Did you go there? You've been here?
No, this is one of the reasons that I do a lot of work here on Africa. I had an opportunity to go when I was in college, didn't make it, so I'm trying to come forward here.
Hello, my name is Adrian Terry Bay. I'm from Hampton, Virginia. I came into the art world very defiant. My original major was biology, and I stuck to it to my junior year when I just gave up biology and went into the art department. Graduated from Norfolk State, taught for 10 years, going back to teaching this coming year art. And my studio has been open in Hampton on Mercury Boulevard since September.
What's the address?
3009 West Mercury Boulevard.
Near what street?
It is on the main street.
No, on the
so
cross street.
Cross Street will be Jefferson Avenue and
Okay, got it.
Aberdeen.
Yeah, got it.
Mhm. I'm using my art studio because personally, I was doing it mobile. So I did paint parties, face painting, henna. And now that I have a studio, I'm opening it up to other artists like Mr. Press. That's how we got connected. And then wanting to use my education to pour into the community of art, use it, anything creative. At the studio, I have a garden, a community garden that I've started where I have food, open. I have livestock that I also loop in. So I have a standardbred horse that I attach to my art studio. I'll be painting on it because it's white. And yeah, so I've connected a lot of stuff to my art studio and in hopes of having others come in to create.
Oh.
Thank you.
You're gonna get us. You actually have the people pose for you and
Yes.
you paint them?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not from a picture.
No, they sit down and we have the painters. I have to paint the body paint and we paint them.
How long does it take you to do a portrait like this? Really interesting. How long does it take you
To paint the person or the piece?
to paint the piece?
Paint the piece? Well, it's always difficult to answer that kind of question. I'll tell you why, because most of your serious artists will work on 2, 3, 4 pieces at a time.
Oh,
So this piece right here, maybe I could start on it on a Monday and not maybe get back to it till the following Wednesday. But in that interim, I'm working on some other pieces. So it's kind of abstract to say how long it takes. But if I started on it and just didn't finish and didn't have any other interruptions, something like this would probably take me about 3 or 4 days.
yeah, I can see
Because you
that.
go layer on layer.
Yeah, yeah.
So have these paintings been displayed in Cape Charles? I swear I've seen something similar to these.
Now, you may have seen, I donated a piece to the Rotary Club. And that was one piece,
Yeah.
but they have not been displayed in Cape
We had a raffle, and we had
Maybe
one of
that's
the
where-
pieces
okay,
of what we raffled.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think my daughter picked your picture, she wanted, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Reggie has a question.
Reggie?
Oh, yes. Actually, a comment. I'm honored that you're here for some of the reasons that you spoke out at the beginning of your talk.
Thank you.
We're also not only natives of this area together, but we are Spartans, and that's a good thing, right?
Me too, I'm
Okay, and I like this picture right here, and I see the price is $39.99, so I would like. There's a sticker right there that says $39.99.
It's the easel. Add two zeros. Thank you.
Reggie,
I'm the one who invited Richard first to speak here today. I met him at one of the table. I met you at one of the,
Right, as the cousin author.
yeah. Arthur,
Coming to the table.
yeah, coming to the table, which is a forum for African Americans trying to understand the race relations. And Richard is very active in this kind of organizations in the community, and he's using his art to integrate the races.
Richard, thank you both. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm extremely happy. I've been he's get down the street from me, walk down the street, all over Cape Charles.
Oh, is that right?
Down there is he town, the whole family's town. He has some brothers. So that's why I'm extremely proud of him. When I intend to go to see the artwork.
Over in Hampton.
And I hope the rest of you will come.
Yeah.
There are others around, and maybe we will see him, but knowing what his lifestyle, we won't go through all that, but I guess something is driving him to live in Cape Charles and all around the community. We know each other. I won't tell it all, but I'm happy to know.
I'm sure you
that
knew his parents then, right?
his parents and his parents.
Yeah. Okay, thank you once again. We have one other lady who would like to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I forgot to mention that Richard also accepted to be a member of the advisory board.
Oh, great.
Okay, thank you, Maddie. All right.
What is the name of the studio?
The
What's
name
the
of
name
the
of your
studio.
studio?
Oh,
GH Design Studio.
GH.
GH
GH
Design.
Designs.
Thank you.
The last letter is a Z, ZESIGNZ.
All right.
Okay. We have one other lady who has an announcement for. She's our guest today as well, Rose Worland. And we'll have her come up and speak to us briefly.
And I promised Jim yesterday when he called me that I would be brief. He gave me, I think, 30 seconds.
You got a little more.
And actually Chuck said I can have 60.
Rose, move over. Yeah.
You know,
Good.
it's good to be back. For those of you that don't recognize me, I was here a couple of months ago with a presentation on the Literacy Council and the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And all of you were so kind to make a generous donation to us to be able to mail to graduates, those children who turn 5, a first chapter reader book. So it took us a little while to get the books ordered. I met with some educators and got some suggestions. And this is a wonderful reader, and there's also a series too of a lot of Nate the Greats, and there's activities, etc. So this is the book. The club wanted to recognize your weekly guest speakers. with a gift. So, and I'll leave this book with you, but Richard, you will be the first one that this book will be presented in your name to graduates of the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. So there's a label in each of them. It's blank right now because waiting for your name to be entered, but it says Cape Charles Rotary and in this case, Richard Press, present this book to an awesome imagination graduate.
Wow.
Thank you. All right, congratulations.
So, it is a great program. We continue to see children registered. We're up to about 570 right now. So it's great. And this makes a great first reader for 5-year-olds who are getting ready to go into first grade. And they can build on this as well with any other number within the series. So I'd like to present this to the club, which you will, this is your copy to keep. And then your weekly speakers will, I think Jim plans on sending me a list monthly of your guest speakers, and then I'll add those into the book and mail those to in the month of their birthdays, the month that they turn 5. Yes.
Just a quick question. We just attended our great-grandson's pre-K graduation. Is there an ideal book for that particular?
Well, there's a list. If you go to if he isn't registered for the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, you can still look at a list of books that have been selected for every age group. The foundation has a blue ribbon selection committee of national educators that look at different books for different age groups. And the age groups are based on the year that they're born. So group 1, there's those that were born in 2022, and then it goes backwards. But there is a list for every year. You may be able to even go back and look at the suggested reading books from 2021, but the entire list of books for every age group for 2022 is on the website. If by some chance you can't find it, email me at esliteracy@gmail.com, and I'll send you that list of books that will actually be mailed to children this year. So if he's in pre-K and he's 4 and he doesn't have one of those books, then any one of those books would, be great for him. Does he live locally or out of state?
He's out of state. It was a 1-day trip, but it was fun to go to this graduation.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and this is a national program. So at the age of 4, he would still have a year if he just turned 4 or close to 4. He would still have a year's worth of books from the Imagination Library if it's available in his area and he's signed up by his family. And they're free. It's a program that is sponsored by an organization or a nonprofit of some type. So it's an absolutely wonderful program. We're blessed to have the program here on the shore. And again, I can't thank all of you enough for supporting the graduates locally with the book and for honoring each of your weekly guest speakers as well. So.
Thank you, Rose. We'll take care of this.
Yeah, well, and I think Jim wanted a picture with you.
Oh.
I'm just relaying instructions from Jim to me yesterday.
If someone could snap a picture
Yeah.
of me with this book.
And presenting it to Richard.
With you in it, Rose.
Oh, with me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I might break the bill, I might break the,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Hang on, one more. Nadine, right?
Look this way.
Adrian, come on, you be in the picture too.
You gotta get around here. Nobody wants a profile picture.
There we go. We
Here,
got
come
it.
down here, we got,
There you go.
we get the girls, the
Yeah.
boys here, Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
So you happy, Jim?
Okay, we did pretty well as far as timing goes. It's
That's
not
because we
quite
didn't
what
have
I
happy
wanted.
dollars. Happy dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And announcements. And announcements.
Yeah, well, the announcements are done.
No, they're not.
What announcement?
I haven't announced it.
Okay, go ahead.
We want to do happy dollars first?
Yeah, we'll do happy dollars. Who's got some happy dollars? Go ahead, Tom.
Bill, you don't have any dollars.
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead, Tom.
I have five. I'm so happy to have my friend Richard and his friend. I'm doing $5.
No cash, no.
Okay.
They'll send you a bill.
Yeah.
Also, to the oldest
More than one people.
Rotarian I know in the world, Charles Dixon.
Charlie.
Got a counter to that? Go ahead, John.
I've got 20. I've got 5 each for the ladies who are here today that sit with me or close to me. And I've got 5 for a man who eats English muffins and bacon grease, and he may be a beneficiary of one of these assets. He may be able to, I don't know. That's the only but.
Bill.
Yes, I have $10 because tomorrow morning, Jackie and I are going to drive to Chicago.
Oh. In the same car?
Yeah.
I'm following him.
Are you
Wait,
making it all in one ride?
No, we're gonna stop in Akron,
Okay.
overnight there, exciting town, and then push on.
Are you taking an electric car?
I don't own an electric.
Bernie, did you give 20 or 25?
I'm like, you know what? I've got another 5 for our model too. I forgot.
25.
I've got $5 myself for congratulations to Tina for becoming a new bride and for your son bamboozing her. Go ahead, Charlie. Anybody else have some happy dollars? All right.
I think I'm gonna do another 5 for this. This is coming.
All right, Tom's up to 10.
Whoa.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
I have $5 for my
$15.
first successful
Okay.
crab cake
Making.
production.
All right. I've already eaten half of my box, and they were just good as ever too, by the way. So it goes great with macaroni and cheese and green beans. Go ahead, Bill.
I've got 5 happy dollars. This is because I won't be here at the time. This is sort of in anticipation of Virginia Tech absolutely crushing right now. On the 19th of September. Now, if that happens, somebody can put me in for another 20 on top of that. But in the rare event it goes the other way, Burtis will cover the 5. I just
I'll be in Germany on that. When's the game?
19th, I
I'll be
believe.
in Germany. So we're, the one closest to home, that's where you
Well,
go.
I'll send you the T-shirt early. I'm going to be in California, so you'll be further away.
Okay, do we have any other happy dollars or announcements? Bill.
Yes, most of you know that every summer, Willie Randall conducts a school supply drive, and we participate in that. And his office called me to ask if we would participate again, and I told him, of course. And when I passed that on to Jim Rich, Jim said that was in Stanley's department. Stanley's in charge of community activities. So Stanley will be bringing a box in every week and try to remember to bring pencils, pads, and other school supplies. And we'll deliver those to Willie's office by August 19th.
Okay.
So let's make the rest of July and early August school supplies for the kids.
Yes.
I'll be visiting everybody, so expect to see me.
Bring honey.
Okay?
Joe and I forgotten, you do have an announcement.
I do. As chair of the new communications committee, to me anyway, I wanted to let you know that I'm creating an email list on constant contact. I have a subscription there. I don't have email addresses for everyone, every member. I'm taking them from the DAX database. Some of them are not right, they're bouncing. So I may be calling you and I may be sending out test emails once in a while that'll say test to make sure you're getting it. So just so you're aware, thank you.
Okay, thank you. In the meantime, I'll send you what I have is a composite list for when I was emailing to everybody.
Right.
Hopefully that'll give you a good head start. on
As
things.
a point of information, how does a new member's information get into the DAX database?
It's on their application when they apply for a member, there's a line there to enter their. active
You do
email
that, right?
address.
Who gets that form and who puts it onto the? DAX
Secretary.
database?
Ultimately, the president of the club. does.
Okay, thank you.
Secretary is the one supposed to enter it though, and DAC need to.
Yeah.
And then,
can't find that, Bill Payne.
and then, Joan, and then once they
I have
get their
no
member
access
number,
now.
they can log on to DAC yourself.
I'm a nobody.
Change their own information.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
Just
if
looking out
we
for you.
have No other
Love it
announcements
that way.
or happy dollars, why don't we close out the meeting? Please, everybody stand. And for our guests, this is what Rotary is all about, the things we think, do, and say. Number one.
Is it the truth?
Number two.
Is it very all concerned?
Number three.
Will build goodwill and better friendships?
Number four.
Will be beneficial to all concerned?
And this you won't find on that list, Libby. But number five, Stan, tell us.
Will
about
we have fun?
Yeah.
it. All right.
Good meeting, Chuck. Good meeting. Oh,
That's what happens when you try and.
that's okay. It's clear.
I think this one's gone.
Cryptic payments today. I thought I'd just be covered up with it.